let's talk about polls and margin of error as an introduction. So we're going to call this our intro piece. So we have a survey from the Pew Research Center, and 3,581 people were surveyed. And they were asked, is it important to be a good member of society? Right? So we have a couple of different things that they were asked about. And is it very important? That's the dark or the first piece. And is it somewhat important? That's the second piece. And this is the percent of U.S. adults who say the following is to be a good member of society. That's the idea of this. Okay, so question number one, anytime we're dealing with a survey or a poll, you want to make sure that you can answer a couple of questions about it. And that's what this intro is about, because a lot of people will throw out survey results or they'll make up data, and it may or may not be true, right? They really might just be making things up. So first things first, where did this poll come from? Well, it came from the Pew Research Center. So always look at where things come from. That's important. Is it a non-biased place kind of a thing? And is it fair? Well, yes, I would say. And I did not write all of the information. I didn't want to type 16 paragraphs on here. But I'm going to say that yes, it is fair. This was an online sample, online sampling. It was random sampling, done so in a way that nearly everyone has a chance of being selected. So people, what didn't matter on their population by gender, race, ethnicity, political party, education, other categories. There was all that, none of that mattered. So they really just kind of did this big random sampling of residential addresses. Now, the one thing I can say about that, so residential addresses, which means, it is a little bit biased because you have to be registered with an address. So for people who, if you live with someone else but you don't have a registered address, you wouldn't be on that list. Anybody who's homeless is not on that list. So it's not like it's completely flawless, but it's a pretty decent survey. Now, what population is represented by this poll? Recall that when we're talking about a population, we're talking about who is represented. What group was pulled from to get this information? And the key there here is U.S. adults. So the population is all U.S. adults. The population is any possible person we could have talked to. Now, obviously, we can't talk to everyone. That is impossible. So the population is all U.S. adults. The sample is the people we actually talked to. So the sample is the 3,581 U.S. adults we actually talked to. So how many people out of that 3,581 said they see voting as very important to being a good member of society? So voting is this first piece. And we're interested in very important. Very important is the dark part. So it's this first part of the bar. And that's 69% of the people. Now, how many people did we talk to? 3,581. So 69%, let's change that to a decimal, of means to multiply. So 0.69 times 3,581 gives me 2,470.89. Y'all, we're talking about people. You can't have a part of a person. No matter how dumb you think your sister is or how bad you think your handwriting is, you're still a whole person. Your sister is still a whole person, right? We are all whole people. Great. So we're going to round. So I have 2,471 people think it is very important that voting in elections makes you a good member of society. And that, there's another one. How exciting. So let's suppose we have another group of 3,581 U.S. adults. And they're asked the same question, thinking about what it means to be a good member of society. How important is voting in elections? I did not write the second part of this question. But the second part of this question is, would it be the same? If we asked another same number, would we have this same breakdown? Would it still be 69% say very important and 21% say somewhat important? Would it be the same? No. Would it be close? Probably. So by the law of large numbers and by the idea of just sampling in general, it just kind of goes to show that if you ask a large number of people, right, a large sample, you're going to be pretty close. And this gets us into the idea of confidence intervals. That, okay, so maybe we talked to one group and we had 69%. Then maybe we ask another group and we get 67%. And then the next group is 70%. And then the next group is 68%. And then the next group is 73%. So they're all like close and within this bubble. That's kind of the idea. It's never, well, it's not likely to be exactly the same, but it's probably going to be close, okay? So suppose you would ask every U.S. adult. So let's say we talk to everybody. Forget these little 3,581 samples. Let's talk to every adult. Would the percentage be exactly 69? Probably not. Probably not. Would it be close? Probably. Yes, I would say probably yes, it's going to be close. Because again, we get into that the idea that the more people you talk to, you get closer to like the average of what people actually think. So if you think that that is like a decent average, then yeah, it's probably going to be pretty close to that. It might be 67 or 71 or 62.5 or whatever. It's probably going to be close to 69. So again, we're kind of, it's not going to be exact, but it's probably going to be pretty close in that range.